It's a freezing winter morning in Krakow, 1992. Snow sits thick on apartment blocks, turning entire districts into a gray-white blur of concrete and frost. A man steps outside, cigarette in hand, and starts his car. It's a Fiat 126P, small, boxy, stubborn. The engine coughs like it doesn't want to wake up. Inside, a child climbs into the back seat. No seatbelt, no child's seat. The doors shut with a metallic clunk. The car rolls forward into traffic that feels loose, unstructured, almost improvised. And nobody reacts to it. Because in Poland in the 1990s, this was normal. Poland in the 1990s was a country in transition, but that word barely captures what was actually happening. The old system had collapsed. The new one wasn't fully built yet. Laws were being rewritten, institutions were being rebuilt, but everyday life was still running on habits formed in an entirely different era. What you got was a society where rules existed on paper, but reality on the street moved faster than regulation could keep up with. Some things were legal but unsafe. Some things were illegal but everywhere. And some things existed in a gray zone where nobody was entirely sure anymore what applied. Today, we're going deep into that world, things that were completely normal in Poland in the 1990s, but would now get you fined, banned, or even arrested. And we begin with something that defined almost every journey in that era: no seatbelts. You open the door of almost any car in early 1990s Poland, and the interior tells you everything you need to know. Worn fabric seats, plastic dashboards that rattle over every bump, ashtrays permanently filled, and seatbelts often ignored completely. They were there, technically, but culture did not demand them yet. Families would pile into small cars like the Fiat 126P, the Polonaise, or imported second-hand German vehicles. Children sat wherever there was space, in the back seat, between adults, sometimes on laps during short trips through town. On longer journeys, movement inside the car was constant. Kids shifted positions mid-drive. Someone leaned forward between the front seats to talk. Someone else slid down to the floor when space got tight. The car was not treated as a fixed safety system. It was just transport. The idea that every passenger should be restrained at all times simply was not embedded in everyday behavior yet. Today, seatbelt enforcement is strict, automatic, and socially enforced. Back then, it was optional in practice, even if not always in law. And connected to that was something even more striking. Children in cars with no safety equipment at all. No child seats, no boosters, no height requirements being followed in real life. A child might sit in the front passenger seat because it was warmer or had more leg room. Cars were not yet viewed as highly regulated safety environments. They were mechanical tools. Smoke. Everywhere. Buses, trams, trains, cafes, offices, waiting rooms, stairwells, hospital corridors. Smoking wasn't restricted in the way it is today. It was part of the environment. Step onto a bus in the early 1990s and you would immediately feel it. A dense layer of cigarette smoke hanging in the air, slowly shifting as the vehicle moved. Windows cracked open even in winter, trying and failing to clear it. People smoked while talking, while waiting, while working, while traveling. Not smoking in public spaces was unusual, sometimes even noticeable. Today, smoking indoors in public spaces in Poland is heavily restricted or banned, and public transport is strictly non-smoking. But in the 1990s, it was simply part of the atmosphere. Then there was alcohol, not hidden, not always regulated in the way we think of today, often visible in public life. In parks near apartment blocks outside train stations, small groups would gather. Bottles passed between hands. Conversations carried late into the evening. Summer evenings especially turned public spaces into informal social zones where drinking was simply part of spending time outside. Over time, laws tightened, and municipalities introduced restrictions on public alcohol consumption. But during the 1990s, enforcement was inconsistent and cultural attitudes were still shifting. And if you needed to get around the city quickly, there was always another option: unlicensed taxis. These weren't official taxis with markings or meters. They were private cars that would stop if you signaled them. The driver would quote a price. You would agree or refuse. And if you agreed, you got in. No regulation, no formal oversight, just negotiation and trust. This system filled a gap during a time when transport infrastructure was still developing and formal taxi regulation was uneven. Today, taxi services in Poland are strictly regulated or operate through licensed platforms with digital tracking and compliance requirements. Back then, it was far more informal and immediate. But to understand 1990s Poland properly, you have to understand the streets. Because the real center of life wasn't just transport or housing or public behavior, it was markets. Open-air, sprawling, chaotic markets that appeared in cities overnight and became permanent fixtures. The most famous example was Stadion Dziesięciolecia in Warsaw, a massive stadium complex transformed into one of the largest informal trading hubs in Europe at the time. Walking through it felt like entering another world, rows of stalls stretching in every direction, tarpaulins tied together, wooden tables stacked with goods, vendors calling out prices, customers negotiating constantly. You could find almost anything there. Imported jeans, shoes, perfumes, electronics, cigarettes, cassette tapes, later CDs, tools, clothing, and household goods. Some of it was officially imported. Much of it wasn't clearly documented, and much of it existed in a legal gray zone that defined the entire decade. Cash ruled everything, and while the Polish zloty was the official currency, it didn't always feel like the most important one. US dollars and German marks carried real weight. They were trusted more in some transactions than the local currency itself. People saved in them, traded with them, and used them in private agreements. Official banking systems were being modernized rapidly during the decade, but on the ground, informal currency exchange was still deeply embedded in everyday economic behavior. And alongside this gray economy came something even more widespread: pirated media. At markets and kiosks across the country, you could buy VHS tapes of Hollywood films recorded and copied repeatedly, music albums on cassette tapes or early CDs with handwritten labels and inconsistent packaging. It was fast, accessible, cheap, and extremely common during the early 1990s when enforcement of intellectual property rights was still developing in post-communist markets. Today, Poland enforces copyright law under broader European Union frameworks, and that physical market culture has largely disappeared. Another defining feature of the decade was what appeared on the streets themselves: cars. After 1990, Poland experienced a massive wave of used car imports from Western Europe. Germany in particular became the main source. Suddenly, streets filled with older Opel, Volkswagen, Ford, and Audi models that had already lived one life before arriving in Poland. They did not always come with perfect documentation. Some had unclear histories. Some were registered through simplified or transitional processes as the system adapted to new economic realities. What mattered most was functionality. If it worked, it stayed on the road. Today, vehicle import is heavily regulated, with strict technical inspections and standardized EU procedures. But beyond specific behaviors or objects, what really defined the 1990s was something harder to regulate: flexibility. Rules existed, but enforcement was uneven. Institutions were still being built, and people learned to adapt quickly. If something was expensive, there was a cheaper informal alternative. If something was unavailable, there was a market stall or private seller. If something was restricted, there was often a workaround. Street mechanics repaired cars without formal workshops. Small kiosks appeared on sidewalks almost overnight. Home-based trade became common. Informal services filled gaps left by the collapsing and rebuilding state system. Life felt constantly improvised. Even work itself reflected this shift. People moved between formal jobs, side jobs, and informal income streams. Factories were closing or restructuring. New private businesses were appearing. Entire industries were being rebuilt in real time. In that environment, stability was rare. Adaptation was essential. And yet, despite all of this instability, there was also a sense of opportunity. For many, the 1990s were chaotic but full of possibility. New businesses could be started quickly. Markets allowed fast trade. Foreign goods became accessible for the first time at scale. It was a decade where rules were still forming, and people were actively shaping how modern Poland would function. And gradually, things began to change. Seatbelts became enforced, smoking restrictions increased, public drinking laws tightened, markets became more regulated or disappeared entirely. Taxi systems formalized, banking systems modernized. EU alignment later accelerated this process further. What had once been normal slowly became regulated, restricted, or fully illegal. But the memory of that decade remains vivid, because 1990s Poland wasn't just a list of outdated habits or unsafe practices. It was a country in motion, a society rebuilding itself from the ground up while still living inside the remnants of the old system, a place where a car ride could feel unregulated, a market could feel endless, and everyday life could shift depending on who you knew, what you could get, and how quickly you could adapt. And for those who lived through it, the contrast to today is almost difficult to explain. Where there was once improvisation, there is now regulation. Where there was once uncertainty, there is now structure. Where there was once flexibility, there is now standardization. And what was once completely normal is now often unthinkable. But in the 1990s in Poland, it was simply life.